Hey, Coach Wilcoxon here, Bloodline Sports. Just got done with a youth camp this weekend over at AZ Dingers, and really good. It went well. We had smaller numbers than the first one, but I think overall you got more hands-on teaching and instruction, and I was able to get to know the kids a little better and spend more time with them and work with them. And as you know, as I have a book. It's called The Stage for Elite Hitters. You can get that on Amazon. It's like $8. It's a really short, easy read. I've gotten a lot of good compliments on it, and so check it out. But if you guys know me enough, have been around me enough to listen to me talk about hitting, I first off, we take the hit out of it. I don't want to say hit the baseball. The just the word hit has a different connotation, I think, to a lot of people's brains. Is we're trying to hit something, and I don't even like to say that we swing the bat. I call it a throw. We throw the bat. We throw our hands, and then the bat releases. So if you look and dissect, which I do almost every night, I look at swings, whether they're the kids I coach, whether I've been doing it for 30 years. I was 40 years. I was doing it I think I first got on video probably my freshman, sophomore year in high school, and was just infatuated with watching myself on video because I'm a visual learner. And I've taught myself and learned how, going back to how I was taught how to hit and all this stuff that's so different now. But when I break it down with just what the body does, sports science and all that, and just watching how the body works, it's actually a throwing motion. It is. I will fight that with anybody. It's a throwing motion. But with that being said, I like lateral movement. I like to gather. I call it, we got to gather. I want to go hunt the baseball. When that pitcher's coming at me, I want to be going right back at him. And I had my last session yesterday. We had 7 kids, and a lot of the parents hang out and watch. And we were hitting off the tee. We are having a competition, line drive competition. And I had 2 of the 7 that they may have been teammates. They weren't brothers, but these kids like to, I talk about striding and gathering and getting a lateral movement before we go to throw the barrel, throw the hands, throw the bat. We throw the bat through the baseball. We take the hit out of it. We take the thought of making contact out of it. We're just going to throw it and be athletes. These kids, 2 of these kids would pick their foot up and put it back down, and they'd have no lateral movement whatsoever. And I said, are you going to stride? Because they came in a little wider, so that they're being taught this, right? But so I said, well, are you going to stride? Well, do you stride? They said, yeah. And he picks his foot up and puts it right back down. I said, well, that's okay. So you want to pick it up and put it back down where it was, but you still have to gather. You still have to get some lateral motion. And then another kid went and he did it properly the way I was teaching. It was a 90-minute session. And then the next kid went and did the same thing. And I said, who is teaching this style of hitting? And a mom that was behind us yelled. She could tell she was pretty upset, frustrated. And she says, they're coaches. So I don't know if she was frustrated with me or frustrated with her coaches, but I felt compelled to put this together and show you how I got 5 major leaguers and how they swing. And I broke down 2, righty and a lefty. And I've always talked about, I hear teachers telling kids to push their hands back. The hands don't go back. Bobby Witt rocks a little bit. So I have shown here where his hands are. And what I was telling these kids to go home and get on YouTube and watch their favorite player slow motion swings. And I said, the beauty is most of the angles are of this point of view. And you can line up like his hands, his hip, his foot with someone in the crowd. And so this seat is empty, but you can see this lady's shoulder and her short sleeve shirt. And this is where his hands are. And then we will go to, and so I don't know if this mom was saying we don't move laterally, or again, I don't know if she's frustrated with the coaches or was she's frustrated with me. I don't like. I'm not going to sit here and say I know everything about hitting. I know a lot, but I'm basically breaking down what the body's doing, and I don't like to argue with other coaches. I like to listen to them, and we have differences, which is great. But I really think if you're not moving laterally, going to hunt the baseball, you're not gonna crush the baseball. And that's what we want to do is we want to drive the baseball. We want to throw our bat through the baseball. So we'll look at this will be from this picture. The next picture is going to be when his foot lands, and you will see a dramatic what dramatic means, a dramatic move to the lateral. You'll see this gentleman here with the KC hat on and where his hip is in relation to him. And we'll go to the next frame. And you can see his hip has already crossed this gentleman's face. His hands are still relatively next to this short sleeve. Again, Bobby rocks back just a little bit, but you can see the difference between where he's landed. And then now as he's going to go fire, watch this move, is you can see that from the first one, you see his hip here and his foot here. We go back. Look where his foot is ending in his hip to the first frame. So his hip is almost where this yellow line is. That is a dramatic lateral move, period. Look where his hands are in all three frames in relation to this lady's right arm. Again, he rocks a little bit, but now he's got this massive load and transferring of weight, and his hands are basically where they were when he started. And as you guys know, also for me is I'm a huge proponent of hitting the ball out front. That's how we damage the baseball. We have to catch it out in front of our body. And you can go off the front foot, but I'm talking the body itself. And you can see where he's hitting this ball in relation to his torso. Awesome. I mean, one of my favorite swings in baseball. Let's go to next. We'll go to Corey Seager. We're going to look at the same stuff. I got to stop that and then start over. Blow this up a little bit. And same thing, we're going to look at the hands. Now on Corey, I decided to look at the belt too. And I'm going to show you these full swings. So again, if you don't think big leaguers move laterally and go hunt the baseball, you've got another thing coming. So let's go here. So you can, again, we can look at signs. We could look at this guy in a green shirt with his hands. Corey likes to keep his hands pretty low. You can look at this sign. Actually, you look at this picture when he's done. Basically, this front foot would be out of this frame if I kept it the same size picture. So ADT, his hip's on that T, and we'll go to the next one. His hip is outside the A. His hands are still right around. And if anything, his hands move forward, right? And people think you're pushing your hands back. No, you don't. I'm showing this blonde lady up here with his foot in relation to her head. And then you'll see, blow this up a little bit. Look at how far his foot started right at this arrow. And look at how far he's gained ground. And if you look at the belt, it's when he lands, his belt is next to this post in the dugout or the skybox or whatever you want to call that. Again, let's blow it up. So again, his hands have hardly moved. If anything, they've come a little bit forward because this dude gets some serious gather. And we'll go to launch. Again, if you look at where his hip is now to her, again, like use this stuff to look at the people in the crowd and do your marks. Now his hands, if he's brought his hands with him, but again, this is a massive stride, and this is the World Series MVP. So I think he might know something about what he's doing. But look at again this hip right here in the first frame, and look where he is in relation to her. And then we go to the next frame. His hip is past her. So that's a massive move. The ADT sign is gone. His belt is past this post. When he's in start, his belt is where clearly in front of this post by a long margin. Now his belt's going to be out here. So again, and then do we hit it out front? You're damn right we do. We hit it out front. Talk about chopping down the tree. That's how we do it. So let's get out of here and let's just watch these swings. You get here and here. We're going to stop this and we're going to start over with another screen sharing dealio. Okay, we'll start with, we'll go back to Witt, the first one, and we'll just watch this swing in slow motion. I love it. Again, he rocks a little bit, but look at the huge lateral movement to go hunt the baseball, and watch how he throws the barrel. There's no any inkling in his brain of hitting the baseball. He's looking for shapes. He's anticipating location. He's not going to see the bat hit the ball. We don't see that in high school. The game's too fast. So he's anticipating. He's got 0.3 seconds to even pull the trigger, maybe 0.2 to say yes. And let's go to Seager. And same thing, massive move going forward. Keeps his hands low. Keeps him. He's going to get great separation, but not as much as some other guys. But just using that, and is he going to throw it? Yeah, he's going to throw it. Boom. Out front, let's go to what this guy would probably be considered having a very compact swing, Luis Ariz. And tell me if he's not going forward. I'll bet you if you asked major league coaches and experts on hitting, name a very short, compact swing in baseball, this guy's name would come up. And tell me if he's not moving laterally. And let's talk about squish the bug too. Nobody's squishing any bug. You don't squish the bug, and I'm so frustrated with some of what these kids. Is he squishing a bug? Oh, he leaped over the bug. And look at how far forward he's going. Again, most of these swings are pretty flat, guys. I'm just telling you. So let's go to Freeman. Now this guy would be considered maybe a no stride guy, I guess. He's going to pick it up and put it down like if these coaches are teaching this, but they're not. These kids that I was working with yesterday were not getting any lateral movement. And tell me that this guy isn't getting any lateral movement. Again, you can just look at like his coach or this post or this field sign. And yes, he's going forward. He's hunting the baseball and he's throwing the ball. I just don't understand what we're teaching these kids. Let's go to, you want to see some lateral movement? Let's look at the polar bear. Freak. Look at the sign. Look at the experience sign. It's just crazy lateral movement. You can watch it again. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Just, it's he is hunting the baseball, crazy separation, and he's going to throw it and he's going to hit it out front. So again, I'm really frustrated on how some of these coaches are teaching these kids. It's just I and a lot of it is, they probably had that, they were taught that when they were kids growing up, and if some of the dads played baseball or in high school or whatnot, or if they're watching some people on YouTube that are talking about squishing the bug and toe tapping, and I don't mind a toe tap. But what frustrates me is we have to teach kids, especially kids, to be athletes first and not having a lateral move when you're throwing something. Would you pick your foot up and put it right back down and throw a football in the same spot with no lateral movement? Would you hit a forehand in tennis with no lateral movement, no stepping into your swinging of the racket? I mean, this is just sports science. It's exercise science. It's physiology. It's proprioception. It's the new word of the month. But it is, and that's why I do videotape all my lessons, so my athletes can see themselves and what they're doing, and I can break it down a lot better. Again, I'm more about the athletic part, the athletic motion. We don't all have to swing alike, and I don't want any of us to swing alike. It's your own swing. It's your own fingerprint. It's you. So be you, but please go hunt the baseball and throw the barrel, throw the hands. Don't hit the ball. Don't swing the bat. Throw the bat. Okay. Have a good season. Tryout starts today. We'll talk soon. Take care.